am delighted to welcome to the show this evening my first guest on my first episode of Cardiff City World on Cymru Sport is none other than former Cardiff City manager, former Cardiff City captain, Mr. Mark Hudson. How are you?
Hi, mate. How are you?
Very happy, mate. Got lots of nervous energy.
I made it. I was a bit late. Apologies.
Thank you very much. No, I appreciate your time, mate. It looks, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while.
No, it's been a long time, isn't it? I think. Yeah, time flies, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, it really does.
Disappears on you. So, no, you're all good?
Very good, mate. Got lots, like I say, lots of nervous energy, but I'm getting through it, you know? No, it's exciting. Got a few little bits going on this evening, so really excited. But I'm most excited to talk to you, of course. You obviously spent a good portion of your career down in Cardiff, God's country, as some people refer to it. And tell us a bit about that time as a player, first of all, and what your time in Cardiff was like.
Well, I think overall, if I look back on it now, I think it's a hugely successful time for me as a player. For my family off field, we had like I said, we had our I've spoke to you before. We had our boys there, created a family home. So successful time for the club, and off field it was really good. Met a lot of good people. Still family friends from there, and yeah, really enjoyed my time there for sure.
Indeed, mate. And you also had the pleasure of meeting me, which is added bonus for you.
It's up there.
You've also got a unique insight. Obviously, the Cardiff have a young manager at the moment, interim manager till the summer. At the moment, it's his first big job. There's a lot of pressure which surrounds the job at Cardiff, particularly when he took over. That we had one goal, I think, and 1 point. How difficult is it for an interim manager, for a young manager, to come into a job that size, particularly in a difficult situation?
Well, of course, it's hugely difficult, isn't it? I think he's obviously going to be looking up in terms of when he comes in, the things he can change, and maybe some quick fixes to get you sort of results. But he'll have had an overview of what he would like to put in place. And recently he's done really well. So the work that was going on behind the scenes, and probably his thought process of what he can achieve going forward. It looks like the players are all behind him, which is a huge thing. I think you need that. You need to create togetherness, and he looks like he's done that. So yeah, I think it's definitely. I suppose you can't look too far ahead, but you need to get results to be able to, I suppose, create a kind of longevity to it.
Is it difficult for an interim manager or a manager who's in the short term, maybe, to weigh up? For Omer Riza, he's spoken quite openly that he'd like to build for the future and he wants the job, obviously. But is it difficult to weigh up, I guess, maybe getting some of those exciting young players in, but also, you've got to get the points for the here and now as well?
I suppose you say young players, but it depends on what's going to make an impact with the team now. So obviously you've had Kean come in and done really well, scored a few goals as well. So that's obviously creates a bit of a pathway, which is a longer term thing. But it'll definitely be for what can impact the team. He's not just putting young players in just for the sake of putting young players in. And obviously if that helps in terms of the longevity and creating a pathway, that adds to it all. So I think you always have one eye on what the future holds and what you can put in place. But I suppose the ultimate focus is getting results and making it stable and putting yourself in a position to be able to create something long term.
Interesting. What was your favourite memory of your time as Cardiff sort of manager and interim manager?
Favourite time? I suppose getting wins out. Getting wins help. I think actually just being offered the opportunity to be able to do that, from being a player to maybe thinking once you leave that you maybe never go back, to then being invited back to be able to be part of the coaching staff, and then being I suppose, trusted to be given the role to lead, to manage the team is, I suppose that's probably the highlight. I think because it's not something you never think it will happen. So it's I suppose that given the opportunity was something I'll ever I will always hold dear to me, really.
Is it like, obviously Cardiff City fans, we all view the club as big. We also, feel that it has the potential to be massive, as all football fans, I guess, do, don't they, with their club? Is it a big job which comes with a lot of pressure?
I suppose the pressure is to get results. It's a city. It means so much to everyone, and it should. And that pressure should be enjoyed. I suppose that it's not the pressure from the fans. I think they want to see exciting football. They want to see results. They want to see the team doing well. I think pressure in any football, any walk of life in football, I suppose it comes with it. Results, business, that's pressure. But ultimately, you've got to enjoy it. And I did enjoy it. And I suppose, I think when it doesn't go quite your way, then obviously that results can turn and you don't get results. That's pressure. But I think, again, you've got to enjoy it. I think, you can't look beyond that, and you've got to try and put, I suppose, a style in play that everyone gets behind. But the fans just will always get behind you and always want the team to be successful. So I don't see that as pressure at all.
Good stuff. What are you up to now, Mark?
Well, I'm at Ipswich Town currently, and we're obviously in the Premier League, giving ourselves a chance to do something special. I'm enjoying my time there. It's a brilliant place to work, working with amazing staff, learning lots while I'm here, and we're sort of heading in the right direction as the club sort of looks forward and tries to build stuff short term, long term, medium term as well. So it's definitely been progressive, and I was again talking about being proud and being given the honour to come in and work with such a successful group so far, I suppose.
With the Ipswich job, I think it's interesting because obviously very successful in the Championship, played some great football, and Kieran McKenna, I'd imagine just from the outside, he looks like the sort of guy who would be an absolute pleasure to work with. He really, I rate him so highly as a young manager and tactically and things like this. But as a management group, how difficult is it to keep up morale in what's always a very, very difficult season when teams come up to the Premier League and maybe results are difficult to come by? Is it hard to keep that morale up and keep everyone positive, I guess?
No, I would say no, really. It's all about just sticking to your process. And that's what I've come in and learnt a lot about, working each day to try and better yourself and be the best you can, and learn as much as you can from each day. So you've got to focus on the day-to-day process, really. And that will help you over the period of a season.
A couple of questions just to finish us off. There's one in the chat which I find really interesting, which I'd like to get your take on. But as a player and as a manager, I guess, do you like or do you hate the transfer window? What's it like for the players, I guess?
As a player, you're only ever going to get talked about if you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose if you're looking at a management side, you're probably, if you've got an opportunity to add and strengthen, then it can be quite exciting, and it might help you, I suppose, mid-season. I think they're different windows, aren't they? Totally different windows, if I'm being. So I think you can only, if my mindset would be to see it as a positive, and if your players are being linked to other clubs, then it's because they're doing well.
Indeed. Martin in the chat asked the question. He says, do you ever regret taking the manager's job at Cardiff?
No, no regrets in football. No, none really. I just everything that's happened has happened for a reason. I try and use that in terms of, again, not just in football, in my life, things, decisions, or you just no regrets. No, just got to, decisions are made. You give it your best. Ultimately, things change in the future, and you've got to use them as, I suppose, opportunities.
Good man. And lastly, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you very quickly to talk about that goal from the halfway line. Who gets the credit for telling you to shoot from there?
All the fans. It was definitely not in the mindset. It's not something I ever thought about doing. I think it was just more that they saw the keeper off the line more than I did. So it's all down to them. But I think obviously the execution was pinpoint.
Super practiced many a time in training, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, more just whacking it away and just good connections. But no, yeah, it was definitely something that people bring up now, which is obviously a nice thing to have to your name. But yeah, there's more, the older I get, the more people are in disbelief that it actually was me. So
it must have been like slow motion as that ball's sort of going through the air.
That's how I played most of my career, wasn't it? In slow motion. That's what a lot of people. So yeah, no, it was definitely it's a real moment. I think even like now, like I said, people ask me what were you thinking? But yeah, it was all the fans shout and shoot, so I did.
Excellent. I love it. It's one of my favourite moments, certainly in recent-ish years. It's definitely one of my favourite moments.
Was it 2012?
Time does fly, doesn't it? Jeez.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Jeez, it feels like not long. Wow.
No.
Mark, really, really appreciate you joining me. As I said, I genuinely appreciate you being my first guest on the show, and I'm sure we'll see each other soon in some form.
You the best of it. I'm sure you'll do well.
Yeah, all the best for the season, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Take care, buddy.
Bye.
The home of Welsh sport. This is Cymru Sport.
Mark Hudson, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Hudson, is one of my favourite people who I've had the pleasure and the privilege of interviewing over the years. Really was a pleasure. He's a lovely guy, and we had a lot of fun when we did a couple of podcasts, I think, and we had a chat about a variety of things. So we forgot to ask him to do the Ayatollah. But no good for radio, is it? Let's be honest. If you start asking people to do visual things. But we've got another guest coming up shortly. So I thought we'd make the show a little bit more interactive. And let me ask you guys, what do you think of Cardiff City's new signing, Seibert? I've forgotten his surname. But he is technically an excellent footballer, very aggressive. And I think that he will do a very good job for Cardiff. It'll be interesting how they fit him in the formation, with Callum Chambers doing such a great job in the midfield. And obviously you've got Psyopos has been on the bench. You've got Alex Robertson. You've got the captain, Joe Rawls. It's going to be really interesting how they fit them all in, because there's a lot of central midfielders in there who offer different skill sets, different attributes. So it'll be very interesting to see how Omer Riza manages all those personalities and gets them playing. But I think from a squad strength point of view, it's an excellent signing. Probably too good for the Championship, if we're being perfectly honest. He's just he needs game time. He needs minutes. But you never know.